Absolute Wonder Woman number 12 was released this week, bringing an end to the dramatic As My Mother's Made Me storyline. If you haven't been keeping up with this new take on Wonder Woman, then permit me a minute or two to bring you up to speed. The Absolute version of Wonder Woman wasn't raised in paradise by a legion of warrior women. No, instead she was cast into hell by the gods as an infant, separating her from her people, where she was raised by the witch Circe. You'd be forgiven for thinking that this would change Diana, making her bitter or mean-spirited, but it's actually quite the opposite. Diana became a beacon of light, shining brightly, almost purifying the denizens of the underworld. Circe had the power of clairvoyance and knew that it was her destiny to grow up to become a great hero, so she worked with the goddesses of Olympus to prepare her daughter for greatness. As an adult, Diana escaped from hell to defend Gateway City from demons, but she was dragged back to the underworld by Hades and had to fight for her freedom. She settled in the wilderness just outside of Gateway City and constructed a temple to call home. However, the peace and tranquility were shattered when Gateway City was attacked by mechanical spiders unleashed by Dr. Poison. Dr. Poison was a prisoner of Veronica Cale, the head of the government's mysterious Area 41, and she wanted Wonder Woman's help. In exchange, she offered intel on the location of an Amazon, the mysterious maze beneath Area 41. This was a mystical prison beneath one of the most secure places on Earth, and Wonder Woman entered it without hesitation. Here she found new friends like the Minotaur Ferdinand, as well as new adversaries like the mad Atlantean Queen Clea. During the battle, Diana was drugged and cast into a pit, where she was discovered by a fellow Amazon, Io. The two were delighted to meet each other and plotted to escape from the maze. The last issue ended with Diana finding a spirit that took the form of a trident and confronting Queen Clea. This issue picks up immediately with Diana demonstrating the power of her new weapon, the mythical Trident of Poseidon. Clea had kept a small part of it in her own staff, and while it gave her power, Diana believes it also corrupted her. Very few people can withstand being in close proximity to the power of the gods. She uses the trident to take out the fishmen, and she tells Ferdinand to head to her portal to escape from the maze. When Ferdinand hesitates, because he doesn't want to leave Diana behind, she assures him that she has everything in hand and that she will see him soon. One of the things I liked about this issue is how restrained Diana was. She could quite easily have beaten Queen Clea to a pulp, but she relates to her. She's an Atlantean, quite possibly the last of her kind, and has been separated from her people, cast into the depths of the labyrinth. Instead of pummeling her, she instead makes an offer. Freedom in exchange for peace. Remember how in the last issue Io had told Diana that they had been digging escape tunnels but had hit a snag when they found seawater? With everybody evacuated, Diana breaks down the tunnel walls, letting the Pacific Ocean into the labyrinth. Diana says that the two could keep fighting if that's what Clea wants, or she and her fishmen could escape and swim to safety. It had been a long time since Clea had even seen seawater, never mind swam through it, so she jumps at the chance. Diana leads Clea and the fishmen to the hole in the maze and lets them leave, although she says to herself that she hopes she doesn't have to fight them again in the future. Meanwhile, Io and the denizens of the maze have escaped and are taking refuge in Diana's home. However, within seconds of arriving, Io is struck by lightning and disappears. There are a couple of possibilities as to what this means. It reminds me of how Diana was dragged back to hell by Hades, but the use of lightning suggests that Zeus is responsible. Does this mean that he's watching and is fully aware of what's going on? Or was it more of an automated process? Time will tell. Now that the maze has been destroyed, Io gets imprisoned elsewhere, and this is the first big reveal of the issue. Io finds herself transported to Themyscira, where she is greeted by Queen Hippolyta. The first thing Io does is tell her queen that Diana lives and that she has seen her with her own eyes. Hippolyta rejoices and calls for the bells to be rang, and we see that Themyscira is intact, and that there are many Amazons living there. I had speculated previously that the Amazons had done something, or were accused of something, that resulted in Zeus punishing them, but at first glance it looks like everything is normal on Themyscira. So my second thought is that in true Greek mythological fashion, Zeus may have been told that Diana would one day unseat him, and so he separated her from her family and damned her to hell. Of course, like all Greek prophecies, this will likely become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But this wasn't the only big reveal of the issue. Veronica Cale is furious with Dr. Poison for telling Diana about the maze and blames her for its destruction. She notes that it'll cost more than the annual income of several well-known countries to repair the maze, although that doesn't mean that she won't do it. When asked why she had done it, Dr. Poison says that she needs a new, more tactile suit, and will continue acting out until she gets one. She knows that Cale needs her and therefore won't kill her. While Cale relents, she makes sure to clarify that Poison should only get an older suit, not the most up-to-date equipment. Poison clearly can't be trusted, but she is essential to Cale's work. Now, the big reveal at the end of the issue had leaked a couple of days ago, and that is the introduction of the Absolute version of Zatanna. She is imprisoned by Cale as part of Project SS1. She's pretty different from her mainline universe counterpart though, who is a stage magician by day. Here though, she's contained in a tiny cell wearing a straitjacket and muzzle, a bit like Hannibal Lecter. I think it's significant that her hands and mouth are bound. Traditionally, Zatanna's spells were conducted through her voice, so the muzzle makes sense, but her hands? Perhaps she can also use gestures to cast spells like Diana does. It seems that Cale plans on fighting fire with fire. And Zatanna wasn't the only one in Project SS1. We're given some tantalizing glimpses at some other potential foes for Diana. On the left side of the page, there's an alligator person with flowing blonde hair. Definitely not Killer Croc, who's currently running around eating people in Absolute Batman. So it seems more likely that this is the Wonder Girl villain Andira. There's also a cell labelled Zool, with a tiny woman inside of it. This is likely Giganta, whose real name is Doris Zool, although, yeah, she's very small here. Perhaps she can shrink as well as grow tall. In the cell next to her, we can only see that the walls are lined with sheets of paper, so that could be anyone. Dr. Psycho, maybe? The next cell has some sort of amphibious-looking woman, and the one next to it has a large-looking person in it, but we don't get a good enough look at them to say for certain. And then in the right corner, you can see a big cat's tail and scratched-up walls, suggesting that it is the Cheetah. There are some tantalizing teases here and hints at what awful fate awaits Diana in future issues, and I look forward to finding out more. Absolute Wonder Woman 12 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in this video's description. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, those Deadpool Batman variants showed up this week and literally filled half of a short box. You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. To those that have read the issue, what did you think? I found Ferdinand's heroism in this issue pretty touching. He was reluctant to leave Diana behind, but he trusted that she had a plan. When he arrived in Diana's home and found everyone collapsed because of Petra's siren song, he was able to force through and comfort her, returning her to normal. Similarly, when Diana eventually made it home, her first thought was of what happened to Io. To onlookers, it seemed like she had been killed, but Diana put her faith in the gods, asking Hecate to let her know if Io was alive or not. The arrival of a dove holding an olive branch, the universal symbol of peace, was enough for her. She could have been angry that she had been denied a reunion with one of her people, but the fact that she was alive was enough for now. And finally, the scene with Veronica Cale wandering through Project SS1 reminded me of two other scenes from Absolute Comics. It's pretty similar to Project Olympus and Absolute Flash, where Dr. Eleanor Thorne has been creating monsters of her own, and the halls of Arc M in Absolute Batman. And just what does SS stand for? Suicide Squad, maybe? I know that the writers of these books are all singing from the same hymn sheet, so this is all very clearly deliberate. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time! So, next week is a bit of a bumper week for Absolute Comics. Up first we have the Absolute Evil one-shot, which has all of the known villains to date, Ra's al Ghul, Dr. Thorne, Veronica Cale, Hector Hammond and the Joker, meeting to discuss their strategy. The issue promises to have several surprises and shocking reveals, so I'll look forward to talking about that. After that, I'll be covering Absolute Superman number 12, where Ra's al Ghul attempts to force Kal-El into doing his bidding. If he won't do as he's told, then the people closest to him will suffer. Following that, I'll be talking about Absolute Green Lantern number 7, which kicks off the second big story arc. Now that the secret of the world that's coming has been revealed, it's time to meet a new hero trying to hold off the Black Stars, Tomar-Re. And finally, the second issue of Matt Fraction's new Batman series is coming out, where Tim Drake finds himself in a spot of bother as he's arrested by the GCPD, and only Batman can help him get out. So yeah, there's absolutely loads to be talking about. Hope to see you then.